Right guys, I'm changing my office around so it might sound a bit different, but in another video that shocks no one, we're back shitting on the corrupt shitweasel state that in the past few days has not only announced its latest attempt to get us all on digital IDs, but has now also decided to label about 80% of the country as extreme right wing or some bollocks. Oh yeah, if you thought this lot would limit itself to calling just the riots far right last year, then I've got news for ya. Because the Prevent Ponce has decided to go one further when training its useless staff to ignore real threats and instead crack down on you. Because remember, this lot demands
silent, obedient consent.
And shit, it even states that worrying about immigrants not integrating is extreme right wing. So they've just lumped at least 5 politicians in with most of the country and likely some of the immigrants. In fact, I know it'll include immigrants because a lot of older immigrants did integrate and will expect the same of the new ones. So, we've now reached a wild time in the history of this once great country where extreme right wing, according to Prevent, includes Starmer, Blair, your dear old mother, immigrants from various countries, and anyone with half a brain cell, it would seem. Which, coupled with Prevent's constant failure to stop actual threats, tells me this waste of public money and oxygen needs to be disbanded and held accountable for the lives their ideological bullshit has cost us. I mean, let's never forget these useless sacks of monkey spunk decided the Southport scumbag wasn't a threat, despite him literally being obsessed with killing and genocide that ended in 3 girls' little lives being snuffed out. And that's just the latest one, because the London Bridge attacker was known to Prevent, as was the Parsons Green train bomber and the killer of Sir David Ames. So that's 4 failures that led to deaths, and shock horror, none of them are even considered close to right wing. In fact, most if not all shared the same ideology, and I promise you it has nothing to do with protecting British culture. But that actually makes this even more demented, because some of the groups these idiots think they're protecting from the dangerous far right would fall foul of these same laws, since they don't believe in the multicultural kumbaya crap themselves and would rather impose a Middle Eastern medieval Dust Bowl culture on everyone at the expense of all others. But they won't have to worry about that because this will be another rules for YE but not for diversity. Obviously though, the fact these idiots even thought this shit up is enough in my books for the whole thing to be shut down as a useless waste of taxpayers' money and utter failure that it is. Of course, that won't happen, and instead the government will likely pat them on the back and help them call 80% of the country far-right extremists. You know how it usually goes.
Pandemic